everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you've seen these little flock bunnies everywhere, I'm going to show you exactly how to decorate them up, put shoes on them, put arms on them. If that interests you, I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And be sure to give me a big thumbs up because it really does help my channel. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to start with one of these flock bunnies. These are 7.5 inches. I got these at Hobby Lobby. Amazon has them. Michael's has them. You can find them just about anywhere. Their shoes, I'm going to start with these Dollar Tree Favor shoes. If you don't have a Dollar Tree, I'll give you a link in the description below where you can make them from scratch. And I'm just going to add some little 5/16 inch weights to each one of them. I'm going to put 2 in each shoe just to give them the weight. And I'm going to do this to all 4 of them. So we're just going to glue these to a piece of white fleece, and this will finish out the bottom of them. Just make sure you have a 1/4 inch overhang so you can glue them up to the sides of the shoe. Just go ahead and cut them in half right there, and then cut a 1/4 inch all the way around, and then we're going to put little slits in it to glue it up to the shoe. Now, if you want to see some behind the scenes footage and some bloopers, be sure and stay to the end of the video. And just make sure you do get it glued pretty snug. For the shoes, I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 1 3/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm just going to hem up one side of them on the short side. Okay, and then starting in the very back of the shoe, I'm just going to go ahead and glue it to the back, and then I'm going to go all the way around the shoe, gluing it on. Just kind of get as close to the bottom as you can. Next, we're just going to glue the front part of the shoe in. Just go ahead and push that on over. And then we're going to tuck in the 2 sides and glue those down. And then we're going to glue the rest of it inside of the shoe. And in a minute, you're going to see that I have sticks and a cork inside of these shoes. Disregard that part. And I'll show you at the end of the video why I changed it up. Okay, just make sure you do get it all glued in around the shoe, and then do all the other 3 shoes exactly the same way. Next, I'm just taking a 3/8 inch ribbon, and I'm just going to start at the back of the shoe, glue it down there, go all the way around the shoe as close to the edge as you can get. And this will not be a nice way to trim these out. And then do the same thing for the other 3 shoes. Okay, next we're going to put a cork inside each shoe. We're going to mark it right at the ledge of the shoe, and we're going to take it back out, and we are going to cut this off. You want to make sure that it's flush with the shoe. And then we're going to go ahead and glue it inside of the shoe and do the same thing for all 4 shoes. And this is going to be an easy way that we can attach this to the rabbit so that it does stay together well. Next, to give the rabbit some personality, we're just going to attach some little eyes and a nose. And I'll give you the link for these in the description below. I got these on Amazon. And then just go ahead and push them in there. They stayed in there fine. I did not glue mine in because they grabbed pretty easy. And I'm just kind of putting the eyes on the outside edge of each ear, and then the nose right at the main peak of the nose. And I'm doing exactly the same thing with the other rabbit. Next, for the arms, I'm coming down 1 inch from the top of the neck, mark it on this side, and I'm just going to push it all the way through to the opposite side. And this is what's going to hold his arms on. And then we're going to cut these sticks too, and you want to cut them to where they're only about 1/4 inch sticking out of the rabbit on both sides. And then you're going to cut these off. Now, I'm going to show you that they're a little bit longer in the video, but you want to cut them out to where they're about 1/4 inch. Just pull it all the way to the edge and cut it off, and then you can pull the other one through to the other side and push it through. But you want to get closer to the rabbit than that, even if you have to take the stick completely out to cut it. The arms, I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 3 3/4 by 2 inch, and on the 3 3/4 inch, go ahead and run a bead of glue down there and fold the other side over on top of it. Once that dries, we're going to turn these right side out. And I'm just taking a safety pin, putting it at one side of the edge, and then I'm just going to run it through to turn them right side out. Next, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner. I'm going to wrap it around that little nub right there a couple of times. And then I'm coming down and I'm measuring how long I want his arms. Now, these ended up being about 2 inches in length. And then go ahead and take your pipe cleaner, fold it twice, and then turn the edge up so you don't have a point at the bottom. And then go ahead and put it onto the little nub. We're going to glue it on, and then we're going to add the arm. And then just go ahead and take it and slide it up on top of that, pull it up over that top of that nub, and then go ahead and pull it on in to kind of shrink it up a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the edge of it to the rabbit. And we're going to do all the arms exactly the same way. Just kind of scrunch them up a little bit, and then we're going to put a cotton ball down at the end for the hand. Go ahead and put some glue inside of there, and then squeeze it all together so you have like a point, and then we're going to glue our cotton ball right to the end. And do the same thing with all the other 3 arms. Okay, for the skirt, I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 2 3/4 by 16 inches, and I'm going to glue a 1/4 inch hem up on the bottom. Okay, next go ahead and take the facing sides together and glue them together. Go ahead and take your fabric, turn it right side out, and we are going to take a needle and thread, and we are going to sew a casing at the top. So we're going to make 1/4 inch stitches all the way around, and then we are going to draw this up. Now I don't have a finished edge on the top part. We are going to cover that up with another piece of fabric. But you want to go all the way around, starting in the back and then ending in the back. I'm going to go ahead and put it over the waist of the bunny and then draw it in. And then go ahead and tie a knot in the back and make it tight. And then we'll pull the gathers all the way around and straighten them out. And I'm putting this skirt right up underneath the arms. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and glue it right to the body. Span, I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 1 3/4 by 9 inches, and I'm going to hem up the 9-inch side. And I'm going up about a 1/2 inch. When you're completely done with this, it's going to be about a 3/4 inch waistband. And then go ahead and fold the other side over till you have a waistband that measures about 3/4 inch. And then we're just going to go ahead and glue it right around the waist. Starting in the center, get your center point, go ahead and glue it in, and then go ahead and wrap it all the way around to the back. And so that's coming right up underneath the arm, so it's actually touching the arm. Okay, when you get to the back, you're going to fold one side over to make a nice finished seam right there, just about a 1/4 inch hangover, and then go ahead and glue that down, and then glue the other one over the top of it. To attach the shoes, we're just going to use a little E6000 glue and a little hot glue, and we're just going to glue these straight to the bottom. Just kind of center them. To dress her waistband up a little bit, I'm just taking some of that same ribbon that I put around her shoes, and I'm just going to put it around the waist and tie it in a bow in the front. So find your center point. I'm going to go ahead and glue it into the back and then come around to the front. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and glue it on both sides as well, and then just tie a bow in the front. And then go ahead and trim off any excess ribbon. To make a little choker for her, I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 1 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm gluing up the 5.5 inch side on both sides until it kind of meets in the middle. So the choker ends up being about a 1/2 inch wide. Okay, turn one end over about a 1/4 inch so you have a nice finished seam in the back, and then we're just going to glue this right around the neck. And as you're gluing, glue it pretty tight, so go ahead and pull it as you go. To dress up her choker a little bit, I'm just going to add a little flower right to the center. Just going to add a little rhinestone right to the very center. Then to dress up her ear a little bit, I'm just going to add a little pink flower right at the top, and I'm going to put a little crystal on that one as well. Okay, and that's how she turned out. I think she turned out super cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. For the little boy bunny, I'm going to take a piece of fabric that measures 8.5 by 3 inches, and I'm going to hem up the 8.5-inch side about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, next I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to add some ribbon to both ends. Just go all the way up to the edge, and you can actually hang over just a little bit extra. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and hem the top up about 1/4 of an inch as well. And I'm going to add ribbon to both the top and the bottom edge, just like I did on the sides. Okay, with about a 1/2 inch overhang on the bottom, we're going to go ahead and start gluing the pants on. Just come right around the waist, glue that on, and then overlap it and glue the other sides too. You just want to make sure that you leave enough room, probably about the width of the ribbon, because we're going to tuck it up underneath too to give it the pants look. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and glue right down the front, and then we're going to glue down the front and the back underneath edge. Next, to attach the shoes, we're just going to use a little bit of E6000 glue and hot glue like we did on the other bunny. And we're just going to stick them right into the openings underneath where his pants are. Okay, to make the bow tie, I'm going to take a 1 1/4 inch by 5.5 inch piece of fabric, and I'm just going to glue down both sides till they meet in the middle. So it'll end up being about a 1/2 inch once you get done. I'm taking a piece of fabric that measures 8 1/4 by 2 inches, and I'm just hemming up the long side, and then I'm going to turn it around and hem up the opposite side until I get it to about 3/4 of an inch wide. This is going to be for the bow tie part. Okay, next we're going to fold that over 1 1/4 inches. And then we're going to fold the opposite side to 1 1/4 inches as well. And then you're going to go ahead and cut off the center part on the back. And we're going to use that to wrap around the bow tie. So go ahead and glue your two pieces together. And then go ahead and squeeze them in too. You want to kind of squeeze them in the center to make the bow tie. And then we're going to come around it with this other piece to finish it off. Just kind of squeeze it so it fits in there real well. And then just glue that off in the back. Okay, then we're going to glue this to the little band. Now just glue in the center. Don't go all the way across like I did because I screwed mine up and I had to fix it. So just go right in the center, and then we're just going to glue it right to his neck. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue right at his neckline. Go ahead and attach that, and then we'll glue it off in the back. And then go ahead and fold that piece over, glue it down so you have a nice finished edge in the back. And then go ahead and glue that on over. Dress him up a little bit. I'm going to put 3 little rhinestones right down the center. And then for his little belt buckle, I'm just going to attach a little flower right to the top part. Okay, those turned out super cute. Let me know what you think. And if you want to stay tuned for the bloopers and the behind the scenes footage, I hope you do. That's coming up next. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, I just wanted to show y'all that I go through a lot of trials and errors as I'm going through my videos. I usually have my idea in my head when I start. I don't design a pattern ahead of time. I don't draw it out. I just jump in and start. Now, these fleece shoes did not work out because you could see the color through them. That's why I ended up using the fabric shoes. And this is where the disaster happened for the sticks. I wanted to run these sticks up through here, but I found out real quick that this had a metal core on it. So I had to go to plan B on this one because I already had my shoes ready. And then I ended up pulling the sticks out of them, and then the corks were already glued in, and I finally had to cut it off right here. And then that's when I figured out real quick I could not get this even with this tool. So I ended up having to dig that cork out, and it probably took me 20 minutes to dig that cork out of there. Now I was lucky on the other ones I had not already glued them in. And this is the part where I told y'all that y'all needed to have a 1/4 inch on each side for the stick sticking out. This one I had to pull it back apart because he ended up looking like he had big shoulders, like he had broad shoulders. So I do go through a lot of changes in this video, pulling things apart and then starting back where I finished off. And I'm creating my patterns as I'm going along. That's when I'm measuring, I'm doing all my measurements and I'm doing all my cutting. And then I'll come up back and say, okay, this is a piece of fabric that measures 8.5 by 1.5 inches. This is what I'm doing behind the scenes to get to that point. Some ideas I have just don't pan out at all. I was going to give him a tie, and so I cut this tie shape out and glued this together, and then I was going to turn it right side out. Now, it took me forever to get it to turn right side out, and then I couldn't get it shaped. And then I finally laugh at myself, and I say, they are not going to do this, and that goes to the trash, and plan B comes out. And that's where I came up with the bow tie. And then I tried to do the bow tie this way, where I just folded the fabric over and I made a casing because I wanted to have a nice finished seam on it. And I ended up taking a safety pin to go through this, and I could never get it right side out. So about halfway through that, I said the same thing. They are not going to do this. And so I went to plan B on my bow tie. And this happens a lot in my video. Okay, this is where I told y'all not to glue straight across on this. This is where I glued straight across on this. And then when I put it up against his neck, the bow tie folded around with this. And so I had to start pulling the glue back off. And so y'all don't see me do this, but this happens a lot. Okay, I hope that gave you some kind of insight onto what I go through when I'm making these videos. Sometimes it's not as easy as it looks when I finish the final product. You see a little bit of behind the scenes of what I actually go through. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it.